I have difficult time hearing things correctly all the time. But I was baffled by a couple things. I was out to eat with my brother, and I had my French fries sitting as a nice side platter in front of me. And my brother all of a sudden said, "Don't mind if I do," and took a whole thing of them and started eating them. Now, my brother is very kind. He's much nicer than I am. I would do something like that to him. He would not do something like that to me, so it was out of character. So I said, "What did you just do?" And he said, "Didn't you say, would you like some of my fries?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, what did you say?" I said, "Nothing." He said, "Did you?" I said, "No, it wouldn't even occur to me to offer you them because it wouldn't. I was hungry. I like French fries." No. Where did he hear that? I have no idea. I was baffled. And the other day for Stations of the Cross, my aunt came, and my aunt and uncle, and they're the most awesome people. And they were saying, they were with everybody as they were leaving. They waited until last to say hi. And my aunt came up to me and she said, "Oh, that's nice. The woman in front of us," she said, you're the most handsome priest." This is what she said. I said, "No, she did not." And she said, "She didn't?" I said, "No." She said, "Well, what did she say?" I said, "Can I turn the lights off for you?" is what she said. I don't know how. Oh my gosh. So I got the biggest kick out of that. Like, where did you hear that other thing, which wouldn't even cross my mind? How would you hear that? If we hear things because of distractions or because, we can't hear, there's a lot of noise, whatever. We all have this problem. We all have difficulty hearing. Well, or seeing or thinking clearly. Well, brothers and sisters, that's why this time is set aside for us, Lent, so that we can think and hear and see a little bit more clearly by removing distractions and extras. Jesus, the Savior of the world, God, divine, needed to go to the desert, into the wilderness, for this same gift, to be with his Father without distraction. Now, there still were distractions. It says there were wild beasts, there were angels. I don't know that angels are distracting, but maybe they are, I don't know. And certainly it said Satan was with them. So we know that this time of Lent does not mean that when we set ourselves aside, or we take ourselves away from some of the distractions that we have, that there isn't still temptation. Now, Jesus was tempted, but there's less of a distraction for us. And this is a necessary thing during Lent. There was something that I saw going around that the Pope said, don't worry about not eating meat. Like, he didn't say that. That sentence that was formulated there is not true. He didn't say it. Most of all because Jesus, in the Gospel for Ash Wednesday, tells us the pattern for Lent: prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. It's how we remove ourselves, this mini retreat of Lent, from the noise and the clutter so that we can think and hear clearly. And already for me, in these last couple days, I have a lot of distractions. And I place a lot of distractions in my life, so I don't have to think sometimes about the things I don't want to think about. But these last few days, where I've given up some of the things that I like to do or whatever, I've been able to think and see more clearly. And first of all, I've seen, for me, that I can be distracted so much that it can take me away from prayer. And so I've determined that I'm going to set aside a certain amount of time that I need to do it that can't cut into the other things that I do. And being set aside for just these 3 days or 4 days has taught me that. I couldn't see it clearly before, I couldn't hear clearly before, but now I can. Or a little bit better. Brothers and sisters, the church has been doing this since the beginning. Right after Jesus died, of course it was illegal to be Christian. So the Christians were too busy worshiping in private or running away from authorities to put into effect certain practices like this. But immediately after Christianity was legalized in 313 by the Emperor Constantine, there were Christians who were like, oh my gosh, so you mean we're not suffering? We want to do something to suffer, to remove ourselves so that we're not like everybody else. So all of a sudden, started by most famously St. Anthony of the Desert, he went to the desert to remove himself from the distractions of daily life so that he could hear God and think more clearly. And so he went to the desert. And then people started moving, Christians started moving out to the desert with him to remove themselves from distractions or the things of the daily life. And so they started living that way. And that's how our monks started. Our hermits started. Because they saw the value of removing themselves from daily life. Now we have distractions, and we don't have the ability to just go move into the desert for most of us. But we do have the distractions, and we bring them into our life. I don't know about you, but if I get up during the middle of the night and I can't go back to sleep, I know that I should pray. But what do? Things start coming into my mind in the silence that I don't want to think about. So I pick up my phone and distract myself. Do you do that too? Do we find distractions so that we avoid thinking about the things we need to think about? Brothers and sisters, that is a sign. We need to remove ourselves a bit. Lent is the time to do that. So, if we have made a sacrifice, put it into effect. I don't like it. I don't like doing it, but it helps. If we have determined that we're going to give extra to a cause or whatever, do it. If we are determined to pray or to delve more deeply into our relationship with God, which I think we all need to do, I among them, let's do it. But it takes this time, these 40 days of removal into the wilderness, however that might be for you and me. It might look different for me than it looks for you. But let's take these 40 days to do that, to put into practice so we can think and see and hear him more clearly, so that when the day of his death and resurrection come, we will truly feel what he desires to give us, which is everything in his life. Praise be Jesus Christ, King of the universe.